Otto's Tales, Storytime brought to you by PragerU Kids. I'm Jill, and today we're reading a story based on a classic Greek myth. Do you know what a myth is? Well, myths are incredible, fascinating stories like the ones that ancient Greeks used to tell to explain our world around us. Most myths have a lesson for us to learn from, and there are many different kinds of Greek myths. Now, this myth is about a king, his love for gold, and one wish that he made that didn't turn out like he hoped. What is Gold! Gold! Very clever, Otto. Hey, do you like gold? All right. Let's read and see if we can figure out what this myth's lesson teaches us. King Midas and the Golden Touch. Once upon a time, there lived a king named Midas. He lived in ancient Greece, and he loved three things in his life: his little daughter, his garden, and gold. He was a kind, hardworking king, but he also had a tendency to want many things that others around him had. Why don't I have 10 horses like my neighbor? King Midas was blessed with a lot, but he always compared himself to others and focused on the things he didn't have. One day, the king was strolling in his beautiful garden, and he came upon a satyr. A satyr was a fascinating creature that was half man, half goat. Now, this satyr looked very tired and ill, so the kind king took him to his castle to help. He gave him food, water, and a cozy bed to rest. The next morning, the satyr felt much better and was back to his old happy self. And the king began to ask him questions. "Where do you come from, satyr?" King Midas was surprised to learn that the satyr belonged to a powerful Greek god named Dionysus. The king was amazed. When the satyr returned home, he told Dionysus how thankful he was to be feeling better, all thanks to King Midas. Dionysus was pleased to hear this. He decided to reward King Midas for his kindness by granting one wish. What should I wish for? King Midas wondered, thinking of his favorite things. He did not need to wish for anything for his daughter because he could give her whatever she needed. He did not need to wish for his garden because it was already filled with beautiful flowers. He then thought of the one thing that would allow him to get everything else he wanted: gold. I wish that everything I touch turns to gold. Dionysus thought this wish was unwise, but he granted it anyway. And so it was. When the king sat down, his chair turned to gold. He soon found that every single thing in his castle turned to gold the instant he touched it. A vase, a doorknob, his toothbrush. He was so happy, he decided to celebrate with a grand feast. When it was time to enjoy his party, he grabbed the most delicious food on his table and was shocked when the bread turned to gold in his mouth. He tried taking a drink of water, but it also turned to gold. King Midas then became very scared. What would he do if he couldn't eat? He started to realize what he had wished for. Now very sad, the king wandered outside to his beautiful garden. His little daughter ran up to him, "Daddy!" and leapt into his arms. She turned to gold as well. The king hung his head and began to weep. His tears even turned to gold the moment they touched his cheek. "Dionysus!" the king cried out. "Please take my wish back," he begged. Miraculously, the king's new wish was granted, and his daughter and garden and life instantly returned to normal. And King Midas suddenly stopped caring about what other people had and was thankful for all he had for the rest of his days. The end. Now, can you guess what the lesson in this story is? The myth of King Midas reminds us to not be jealous of what others might have and to always be appreciative for the blessings we do have. Otto, thank you. I appreciate you. We can all work for and enjoy our favorite things in life. toys, flowers, gold. But we must always remember that the most important things are family, health, friends, happiness, and freedom. This story teaches us that being too greedy for what others might want does not grant us good fortune. Thank you for watching Otto's Tales. Check out some of our other stories too. Keep reading, keep watching, and keep appreciating what you have. Bye-bye. These are pretty. We're so glad you joined us for today's reading. Otto's Tales is made possible through the generous support of donors like you. You can help us keep the stories coming by going to PragerU.com/donate today.